been a few really special ones at T-Birds, like Shamira is probably the best player in the world at the moment. Obviously, she's pregnant, but having her and getting close to her and someone like Laddie, who have left their families behind and made a bold move, and having them to lean on, especially when I was making the decision to come over here and leave my family, that's been really special as well. And I just honestly I feel like I was in shock at the start. And then, just pretty much immediately without weighing up anything to do with uni or anything, just said, lock me in. That was seriously the coolest thing. But to be fair, I don't think I was actually ready physically or even probably technically or tactically. I was quite young, hadn't been in, I don't think I was physically filled out yet. So although, it was awesome to get a debut and play a few games, I don't think I really set myself up for a linear career, I guess, because I didn't perform as well as I could at that level. So then, I guess I had to take a step back after that and then kind of try and propel forward again.
Hello and welcome back to the Sporting Scoop. My name is Georgia Doyle and today I'm joined by London Pulse player Tyler Orr. Having moved to the UK in the pursuit of more court time, Tyler has helped guide the London Pulse to their 4th consecutive finals appearance. Today we chat about her unusual introduction to SSN, her time as an 11th player with the Thunderbirds, as well as the experience she's had playing in the first year of NSL 2.0.
Welcome back to the Sporting Scoop podcast. My name's Georgia Doyle and today I'm joined by Tyler Orr from the London Pulse. How are you today, Tyler?
I'm really good, thank you. I've just woken up, so looking a bit tired, but no, I'm really good.
You said before we got online you had a big trip back from Manchester yesterday. 3 a.m. you said you got back, so how's the day going to look for you, such a late get back home?
I feel like I'll just do some recovery. I might go for a bit of a walk and try and get moving, grab a coffee somewhere local. Do some recovery, I think, because we've got a few big games coming up, which is really exciting.
Yes, as you've said, you've got one game to finish off the season and then the final series approaching. How's the group feeling ahead of the finals run?
Really good. Yeah, I think there was a bit of chat around us having a bit of a lull mid-season, and I tried to kind of just tell the story that that's normal. We can't be perfect and at peak performance for the whole season. It's probably never going to be a linear journey. So I think I just really tried to bring them together and say it's okay as long as we pull ourselves out of it. And I think the last few games we've really done that. So we're feeling really good as a group and just really connecting both on and off court, which is exciting.
Excellent. Well, plan for today is sort of take a bit of a walk through your netball journey, obviously starting off in Australia to now your first season over in the UK. So I'd love to get started by sort of chatting through your early netball days. Local Adelaide girl came up through the netball SA pathway. What was that sort of early days of netball like for you?
Honestly, amazing. I feel like I couldn't have had a better journey going through the pathway. I was very, very lucky. I got in it quite early. So I guess around the age of 15, started to make state teams, and then really started to make a few key friends in the system that also went through the whole pathway with me. And now I'm lucky enough to call them best mates today. So I'm very grateful for how it all started. And it actually, Mum just pretty much put my name down for a trial. I never knew about state teams or anything. Obviously, I followed the Thunderbirds, but that was about it. And so I should obviously thank her for kind of just pushing me to go into the state team system. Really enjoyed it. And obviously, like I said, made close friends and kind of just went through 15s, 17s, 19s. Was lucky enough to just be identified at nationals in a few Oz squads and stuff. So that's kind of where it all began and where I started to go, hang on, I really enjoy this and I want to take this further.
Yeah, you talk about some of those Australian squads that sort of come as a result of being sort of talent ID'd at nationals. We often see, the social media posts of everyone off having fun at the AIS for all those camps. But what's it actually like being there? What sort of stuff are you doing in those underage camps at the AIS?
It's pretty hectic, to be honest. As a young person, you're not exposed to that too often where you're away from home. It's in a dormitory setup. You're training usually twice a day. Sometimes there's testing, there's off-court sessions as well. So it's pretty hectic for someone that's not been before, but like I said, it's just like such a cool experience, and meeting people from other states and starting to bond with people from other states also takes you pretty far too. Like if you ever have to move for SSN or you get a contract elsewhere, that's kind of where those little friendships start. And then even just being exposed to other coaches as well. Like they obviously have the best of the best going to those camps and identifying athletes. So that's kind of where you start to get exposed to them as well.
For sure. And speaking of that exposure, you had sort of your first taste of the elite environment when you got a call up for the Collingwood Magpies in 2020. I'm sure probably not the team you were expecting to potentially get your first call up with. What was that? I'm guessing it was a phone call. What was that all like? How did that all play out?
Yeah, that was honestly the most wild thing that's ever happened to me, probably. Like, I think it was obviously around COVID because they were in a hub, and I got a phone call from Jane Woodlands Thompson, who has been based in Adelaide before. So I kind of knew of her, but just didn't expect it. And I don't even think I had her number saved. So it was just a random number, a Sunday afternoon, and I answered it. And she obviously explained what the deal was with the injuries, and I just like honestly I feel like I was in shock at the start, and then yeah, just like pretty much immediately without weighing up anything to do with uni or anything, just said yeah, lock me in, and yeah, that was seriously the coolest thing, and then obviously got to meet again more really cool people, got a little taste of it. But to be fair, I don't think I was actually ready physically or even probably technically or tactically. Like I was quite young, hadn't been in, like I don't think I was physically filled out yet. So although yeah, it was awesome to get a debut and play a few games, I don't think I really set myself up for like a linear career, I guess, because I didn't perform as well as I could at that level. So then yeah, I guess I had to take a step back after that and then kind of try and propel forward again.
Yeah, you talk about that step back, and then you became a Thunderbirds training partner for I think it was the 3 years, and then that last year as the 11th player. How was
Yeah.
it going through that journey of sort of sitting in that sort of, I guess, rank one below the sort of the top level?
It's hard. Like I'm not going to be on. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty hard because obviously that's where you want to be, and you see close friends and other people reaching that, and obviously you're always going to be happy for them. Like I don't get me wrong, it's so cool seeing your friends thrive, but at the same time, like you wish it was you. So I think you just work so hard in that space, and obviously financially, it's not ideal either because you could be working and earning a whole lot more money, but you also want to try and achieve your dreams. So I guess yeah, it was really tough, but I think for me, what I used to tell myself is like being negative about it's not going to help. Like I can make a choice to not do this, but I'm choosing to, so I may as well like be the best training partner I can be, push the girls in the 10, make yeah, just be the best person I guess I can be. But yeah, it was tough, and I think like everything happens for a reason. So now I'm over here. Like I've stepped away from SSN and I'm living overseas, and it's really, really cool. So I think it's always just about like looking at the positives in a situation. It's very cliche, but that's just kind of how I've found myself deal with it, I guess.
Yeah, and one of those things that, talk about the financial side of it, one of the things that was brought in last year was the 11th player spot, which is a lot more financially viable, still nowhere near the extent of what the full-time contracted players are earning. What was it like being in that role, particularly the first year it was there? Did it feel like a bit of a sort of pilot program? How did that sort of play out for you?
Yeah, we obviously were the first year of it, like last year. So it seemed a bit like they're still trying to figure it out, which is very valid. I knew that going in as well. T-Birds were very open. Like this is our first season doing it. We're riding this wave with you. Be open with us. We'll be open with you. So they were really good. And I think it's a really cool thing. Now I'm watching SSN heaps over here. I'm a bit of a netball fanatic. And now Sophie Casey, who's the 11th player this year, she's in playing most weeks. So and last year I didn't play once. So I think it just depends on the team, on the season, how that's going to be used. But yeah, last year was a bit up and down. I think they were still trying to figure out how it could work best for the club, and I think it's different for every club. But my role basically was just I was part of the group. I was involved with everything, which was awesome. Again, I'm so grateful for that. And then just kind of being involved in training in case something happened, or yeah, I obviously last year we won the flag, we won the premiership, so it's a pretty hard team to crack into. So I didn't play, but just being involved with everything on court and off court was yeah, very valuable for my game.
Speaking of being a very hard team to crack into, you then sort of made the decision to head over to the UK this year, like you'd mentioned. Sort of from what I can gather, it was a bit before the season wrapped up that you sort of made that decision. What sort of things were you weighing up when you were looking at, oh, do I stay in Adelaide? You know, there's potentially some players that might be moving on at the end of this year. There might be some other spots that open up in other SSN teams versus, oh, there's this opportunity in the UK. Am I going to hedge my bets and go ahead and take that one instead?
Yeah, a few things I obviously weighed up. One being, like you said, whether spots would open at home, and I ended up deciding based on the fact that like I'd done that for a few years now, and if I do the same things, I was going to get the same outcomes. So I had a few really open and honest conversations with Tanya and Jace, and they kind of in the end were quite encouraging of me taking this next step and taking my career in my own hands and going, all right, well, if I'm getting this offer over here in a comp that's probably a little bit less professional than the Australian one, I'm probably going to play more. I'm going to get more life experience, meet new people. And yeah, so there was a few factors. I was really glad that they were honest with me and said, we're supportive of this. It doesn't mean we're not ever looking at you again. But yeah, I think now that I'm playing consistently over here, I've met an amazing group of girls and other people outside of netball. I'm living overseas and living in London, which is super, super cool in itself. Yeah, I feel like I've made the right decision.
And you know, as you said, you know, you're now on a run to the finals in your first year over there, which is obviously a pretty impressive feat. You've got lots of really fantastic players that you're lining up alongside as well. Sort of coming into that Pulse team with so many established players already, how was that for you coming into a new environment?
Yeah, it was cool. Like I think I am a very people person anyway, so I just love people and I love meeting. I've probably spoken about it about 4 times already, just meeting new people. And so a lot of them reached out to me before I came over here, but I actually knew of not most of, sorry, maybe 5 or 6 of them before coming. So that was another factor that I was like, yeah, get me in because I did know of them and I knew they were incredible athletes. And Poles has been around the mark for a few years. They just haven't quite won the grand final. But we actually played a tournament against them. England flew to Australia at the AIS, and we played against Fumi, Liv Sheen, Zara, Liz Scholes was there. There was a few other girls in the comp as well now that I played against. So I kind of did know of them, and that kind of helped as well. Having them on Instagram and having a quick look and going, yep, I reckon I can get along with them. But yeah, I haven't found it too difficult. They've all been super welcoming and same with the staff. Sam picked me up from the airport. So obviously I didn't come over with anyone. She picked me up and we had a pretty long drive back to where I was staying and we just chatted the whole time. So I pretty much knew straight away that I was going to fit in.
Yeah, and it's certainly, as you said, you know, when you get the chance to meet a lot of the girls before, and I think, did you catch up with some of them when they were over here for the Roses series as
Yeah,
well? When they were
I
in
did.
Adelaide?
Yeah. So Liv and Fumi came. We actually did an escape room, which is so random, with a few of the Mavericks girls too. So Chelsea Blackman was there, and then I think Ellie Ratu came along. So that was super random, but again, it was really cool to catch up with them before coming and knowing that I was gonna really enjoy the season.
So it wasn't until after Christmas that you actually headed over there, was it?
Yeah, no. So basically, they said like have Christmas and New Year's at home with your family. Like we know it's going to be cold over here. That's for starters, and then just being away from them for the season. Like we want you to enjoy that time with them. So then I flew over on the 9th of Jan, and a lot of them are in Roses anyway. So it wasn't really at the detriment of us playing together and building combinations because they were with the Roses program. So that's why.
Yeah, it's really nice that they've obviously got that flexibility. And as you've said, you know, respect the fact that you're going to be spending so much time away from your family. They want you to give you as much time there as possible. I think that just goes to show that, as we see with a lot of coaches, they value not just the player, but the person as well, which is becoming such
Yeah.
an important thing these days.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm very grateful for that. That was good having a bit of a summer and then coming over here.
Yeah, and how have you found that adjustment to between the SSN and the NSL? As we know, NSL are in the stage of trying to sort of push for that real professionalism, while SSN are most of the way there. What have been some, I guess, key differences and then some key similarities that you've noticed in the setup between the two comps?
Yeah, this one comes up a fair bit, to be honest. I think I can only really speak from this year, and I think it's been really good. I think obviously SSN seems a little bit more polished. There's a few things on match days and midweek stuff that seems a little bit more polished because it's been established for longer. But having this is obviously the first year taken a step forward to professionalizing the league, I actually think it's got so much potential. And I think give it a few years and it will be on par. They've got a huge population over here, so they've got and they've got cool facilities in the UK. So I think they've definitely got potential to be a really competitive comp. I think, yeah, like I said, there's a few little things that you kind of go, like, is that necessary, or this is how they do it over there. So I think they're really open to kind of simulating what SSN does, but they also want to be their own league. So I don't think they want to follow completely what they do, which is very valid as well. But yeah, maybe like I guess on court, there's a few. I feel like it's really fast over here, like very fast. It maybe I don't know how it looks, but I feel it's quite fast and flashy at times. Whereas Aussies play a very more like safe, clinical game. So there's probably less errors in Australia and more errors here. But here at times it can be super flashy and exciting. They put the ball in from anywhere. So yeah, that's probably the one thing on court I've noticed.
Yeah, and I suppose you've said that, last year you were part of the Thunderbirds environment, sort of being able to come into that full-time gig this year, having training be your main job. Are you working outside of that as well, or are you just fully focused on netball while you're over there?
Fully focused on netball. I think with our visas, because it's an international sports person visa, we I don't know how it really worked. To be fair, I didn't really look that deep into it because I knew I just wanted to focus on my netball this year. But I have been doing a bit of coaching along the side, alongside netball, and that's pays pretty well over here too. So, yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm kind of at the point where I'm like starting to on my days off look for things to do. But being overseas, as being in London specifically, there's so much going on. So on a day off, Nick and I, especially living with her, who's the other international in our team, we usually look to go and do things and explore London as well.
Yeah, I try and keep up with a few of the Aussies that are over there, and often sees, on a weekend you'll be off flitting over to, I think a few of you went over to Paris earlier this year or
Yeah,
something like that, and especially
yeah,
a few Aussies over there. It's a perfect opportunity, like you've said, how often do you get the chance to just go and live in London for a little bit or live in the UK? So why not make the most of that?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
So along the way, you've played with some pretty incredible players, not only with that sort of brief stint you had at Collingwood, you had some pretty cool players alongside you at the Thunderbirds, and then now you've got even more internationals with you at the Pulse. Are there any particular players that you've really sort of tried to learn a few particular things from, whether that be in either the netball space or just life more broadly?
Yeah, I actually the other day, obviously, Jiva Mentors announced her retirement, and she was in that Collingwood team that I first played in as a 20-year-old. And having grown up watching and being her biggest fan, that was just the most surreal thing. And then now, obviously, super random, but I'm over here playing against her in her last season. So that's been a bit of a whirlwind. But I think with Jiva, the thing is just how cool she is as a person. Like, I think my parents have drilled this into me, like, you're not just an athlete. They really made me focus on being a really good person as well as being an athlete. And I think she does that really well. So I think obviously I've tried to kind of look up to her and her leadership and just her positivity around everything. She's currently like commuting from France to Leeds to play in her last season, and she just does it with a smile on her face. So I think, yeah, I think a lot of people can take a leaf out of her book. And then, yeah, I guess there's been a few really special ones at T-Birds. Like Shamira is probably the best player in the world at the moment. Obviously, she's pregnant, but having her and getting close to her and someone like Laddie, who have left their families behind and made a bold move, and having them to lean on, especially when I was making the decision to come over here and leave my family, that's been really special as well.
Yeah, it's always nice when you've got those players that have been in a similar situation to you, and it's sort of nice to be able to get their sort of advice along the way to help sort of guide what you're wanting to, and still sort of let that play into how you make your decision, but still be the one at the end of the day that's making that final call.
Yeah, for sure. That's it.
And it's, as you said, it's been a nice, successful campaign for you guys over at the Pulse this year. There was, I think, 7 players from last year's team that stayed in, and then plus a few new additions that have joined as well. Is there any
Yeah.
particular thing that you can sort of put your finger on as to why you think it's been such a successful campaign for you guys this year?
Yeah, I feel like having rosters that kind of don't change heaps each year does help. I think the thing that I've been really happy with is how the team's speaking about how much we get along more how much the culture's really improved. I can't speak of what it was last year or the previous years, but I think from what I've heard, a lot of the girls are really, really enjoying this season. And I think that's, again, I've taken a few things from what we do at home, and that's really crucial at home as well. And they've been obviously, the T-Birds have been quite successful the last couple of years, and I think they've got an amazing culture. So I think having someone that's come from somewhere that has got a brilliant culture, and just bringing a few ideas, hopefully I've helped a little bit. But yeah, I think it's really, I think it's come down to how much we get along, and everyone's genuinely happy for everyone when they hit the court. There's no jealousy, there's no selfishness. It's kind of very much, let's get this done as a team. And we've got a solid group of 10 players. That's the other thing. Any of our bench girls can come on and be amazing. So I think some of the other teams don't have that luxury. And we certainly are using that to our strength. But yeah, I think those two things, and then I think just having a few international athletes that have been involved in this professional setup. Obviously, not every player in the UK is used to the demands of training daily and traveling and being professional. So I think we're quite lucky that we've got a few international athletes as well.
You talk a bit about that travel aspect. You said, earlier that you caught the bus back from Manchester. How's that been as a difference between obviously an SSN, you're flying all over the country all the time versus doing more sort of road trips this time around? How does that affect, I guess, your travel time, your recovery, all that side of things?
Yeah, it's tough because sometimes you play on a Friday. Some girls have played Thursdays. You sometimes play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's even been a few Monday games. We haven't had one, but it's hard because it means the planning around trainings and recovery for the coaches and staff as well is a bit hectic. But I've quite enjoyed it. You get, sometimes we get the train there because we don't want to get the coach and be sitting before the game for too long. The train systems here is amazing. So we usually get the train. It's just a really cool chance for us to sit down as a group. We've got tables, so usually we play some cards, or we'll watch the SSN replays together. And it's just a really cool team bonding experience. And I think a few of us the other day when we caught the train up, if we said after that ride when we first got to Manchester, like, if we had to go home right now, that'd be like a fun day out. We've just caught the train together. So we laugh about it, but it does get tough. I think with SSN, you fly and you stay over because financially the clubs are probably in a better position to be able to do that. Here, some teams do that. I think ours is based on girls last year or the year before, depending on performance. I think not a lot of them liked staying away from their own bed, so there is a chance to catch the train on that day. They might do it. I think they're open to overnight stays, but I think it all just depends. But that is quite a difference. But yeah, like I said, the train rides are really fun.
And that's something you probably wouldn't expect. Is that something you expected sort of heading over there? That would be one of the differences. I know that's sort of not something that I would have even considered. I know England is obviously a lot smaller, but it's like, you're going to play netball, you're going to fly there. But it's probably, a lot of times more quicker and convenient to just catch the train or a coach or whatever it might be.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't really think of it going over. I just assumed it would be kind of fly in, fly out like what we do at home, but it is really different, and it's cool. Like I said, it's a different experience, and getting to go to different places in the UK every week or every second week is just even really cool. Sometimes the club supports us in saying after the game we'd be keen to stay on, depending on the timing of the game and obviously trainings. But Nicole and I and our two partners, we've stayed on for a few different games and explored the town, and it's just a nice way to see the world as well.
Absolutely. Well, as we said earlier, while you're over there, why not take as much of a chance as you can to explore everywhere? So
Exactly right. Yeah, no, it's been really cool.
now you're heading into a finals campaign. As you mentioned earlier, you've got a bit of experience being in and around that finals environment with your T-Birds experience the last couple of years.
Yeah.
How are you sort of helping to bring the team along in that sort of experience that you've got? You already mentioned before that sort of mid-season slump that you had, and how you sort of helped rally the girls out of that. So what are you trying to bring to the team as you approach that final series?
I think like confidence in knowing we've had an amazing season. I think we was 8 games undefeated, and there was a heap of hype around it, and almost a lot of pressure comes with that because everyone in the media is going, who's going to beat Pulse, and are they the team this year? And like you kind of just get this like additional weight added to it when you are undefeated. The Swifts would have felt the same, and now they've been beaten as well. So I think it's inevitable. You're not going to be perfect for the whole season, and I think, but we can actually take confidence in knowing that we have beaten every single team, and not all the other teams have done that. So I think taking confidence from our start to the season, we obviously won the preseason cup kind of thing as well. So we have played in pressure situations, and just really rallying around each other and just sticking together and making sure that we know that we've got the ability. It's just then how we then put that out on court and deal with the pressure of finals. I think taking things from, again, my experience, making sure we're not shying away from the fact that we want to enjoy it. T-Birds are really great at bringing fun elements to training and trying to take their minds off and still really enjoying the time. They used to do like little dress ups and catch ups for coffee and things like that. So I'll try and incorporate some of that as well to try and really boost the morale of the team.
It is just netball at the end of the day. You want to make sure you're having fun, you're enjoying it. You all play netball because you love it. So you want to make sure as the starts get more stressful, whether that be because you had a couple of losses or because you're starting to approach that crunch time of the season, you want to, as you've said, always bring it back to that fun, whether that be making sure you're having fun outside of netball and enjoying stuff, or really bringing the team together and bringing that good culture, which it sounds like Pulse have done a really good job at anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also, like, obviously the little things, like at the moment we're really focusing on recovery, and there's a bit of a spreadsheet kind of thing that we are all trying to follow, making sure that our bodies, so that we know when we step out on court we've done everything possible to get the win. So yeah, pretty much just all the controllables that we can do, we're just trying to focus on how we can really nail them.
Excellent. It sounds like you've got yourself set up for a good run into that finals campaign. So after the season's all done and dusted, what's the plan for you? Are you hoping to stay over in the UK for another year? Will you be back in Oz for a little bit? What's the sort of next 6 to 12 months like playing out for you, not only netball wise, but sort of in your free time that you'll get as well?
Yeah, those conversations are kind of happening at the moment. So obviously the contracting period for the UK, they've got the new ruling that you can re-sign your players, and obviously ideally the whole group would re-sign. We have an amazing group, but I know a few of them probably might get offers elsewhere. I'm not sure if they want to, but I think if we can keep most of our group, I'd be super keen to stay. Like, I absolutely love this season, and Pulse have been amazing for me. So I would be definitely open to staying, and I think they're really happy with what I've brought this year, both on and off court. It's really nice. Sam spoke about before the game, the coach, just my impact on the group. So I'm really, really loving it, and they seem to be liking what I'm putting out as well. So so there's that, but there's also just the factors of like whether something opened up in SSN. I'm not sure. I know that the CPA doesn't finish until 2027, so that I'm not sure whether that's a possibility. Obviously, that's something that I'm always going to be working towards, and that's been a goal of mine since I was a young kid. And I did make this move over here to try and take that step. But then again, I am loving it, and it's a really cool experience. So I'm not 100% sure yet, but in terms of off season, I will just stay really fit, and I'm going to travel with my boyfriend for about 6 weeks in Europe. So that's another perk of moving here, is it's all so close, and we're going to do 6 weeks around Europe, which is going to be incredible, and I'm really looking forward to that. But obviously we've got a job to do first.
I mean, the hardest bit about doing a Euro summer, as we like to call it, is just the getting to Europe part. If you're already over there, you've saved yourself the effort. So yeah, once all the serious business is done with netball, you might as well flick over and explore some nice spots on the other side of the continent. Oh, you're there.
Yeah, perfect. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a bit of a freak. I've got a spreadsheet all planned out, and we're going to have a really good time. So I'm excited.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you've got everything all organised for the rest of the year for you. So thank you so much for joining us today. Best of luck as you finish off that campaign with the Pulse, and hopefully we will see you back on an SSN court eventually.
Oh, thank you so much. That's been awesome chatting.
This podcast was recorded on the land of the Kaurna people.